Success isn't what happens at the end of the journey, it's how you make that journey.
Individually we can make a difference, and together we can make a massive difference.
Welcome to the Offshore Safety Conference.
He'd tell me the stories of the near misses, and you know what? This time there was no near miss. This time we got stung, him and me, down together living this shitty life. A few seconds of human error, half-life. Stuck in a shitty, never-to-end half-life, desperately looking for the answers to the questions which the next victim, and the next victim, and by the way, the next victim, and their wives, and friends, and families, and children will ask over and over again.
What is the process that you follow after you've done that monologue when you're working with clients?
I leave them with 3 questions, which is who would look after you if this happened to you, what would they be giving up, and what would you miss most about the life you have now?
It's not all just about processes and production, obviously super important, all that stuff, but if you don't also have an environment or a culture where people can be people and take a little bit of time to think and be and connect with each other in a genuine way, then the corporate model-focused stuff is going to start crumbling.
I've led 11 expeditions in total. I've covered just over 6,000 kilometers on foot, either north of the Arctic Circle or south of the Antarctic Circle. And the part of myself that I have stretched and tested more than any muscle is my own sense of self-belief. The hardest obstacles I've had to overcome haven't been environmental, they've been my own fear and my own self-doubt. With enough self-belief, enough determination, enough resilience, and with the right people around you, the right tools and the right technology, then pretty much anything is possible.
We risk getting trapped if we continue with the present efforts. We need to change our focus to safety culture.
Culture is key in the organization, and that the engagement and the commitment of top management is crucial. So this is what we brought back, and with an immense gratitude for this sharing that we have had through the different meetings and the different learnings with OGD members.
We all of a sudden have a different industry in, like the metro company here in Copenhagen and so on. And I think that gives an interesting perspective up against where are we in the oil industry and where are the other industries, such like, for instance, a construction company.
The small companies that are trying to raise their game in terms of health and safety think it's enough to have the expensive policy in the top drawer and to tick the boxes, and what they don't realize is actually what matters is how people speak to each other. So I think that naivety is probably what I notice more in industries that aren't oil, but oil understands the importance of getting the culture right.
What is the right size of engagement? Where do we need to have discussions? And what we have picked up is a concept which we call family-sized units. So smaller units of perhaps 20, 25 people working together. And where we say, in this unit, we are going to have discussions around safety and safety leadership. The name family already expresses something of care and of belonging and hopefully of trust.
I think the most important is about culture. Culture starts from the top. The management has to be dedicated to and involve themselves into health and safety issues.
Personal safety or occupational health and safety is different from process safety. Process safety is the work of a lot of people, from design to execution, you know, through building and commissioning and startup and so on. And that takes a lot of work, and we need to be continually uneasy about where the next failure is going to come from.
You need to bring focus to the high potential incidents, because we tend to have a lot of discussion, and it's often mentioned about occupational and holding onto the handrail. But the thing about the more hidden and the more complex issues, we need to address those and perhaps give them more emphasis.
You have to look out for the weak signals or the red flags, even if they are not full red.
The process safety wasn't treated seriously, and the staff were reassured by the high levels of personal and occupational safety that surrounded them. Occupational safety trumps process safety. Now, I did think about using the word trump in a presentation about major accidents. But I left it in. There aren't any crooks running major companies, oil companies, in our business. But the message down to the front line, which is often a bit patronizing, you know, we want to keep you safe, send you home healthy and well, you know. The front line would get that, they understand that, they resonate to that. But there's a permafrost layer, you know, of middle management that just has to send different messages in different directions, and it just mixes the signals. There's a mistrust.
I had the privilege of interviewing Professor Edgar Schein, and we've taken out a number of clips that I'd like to share with you.
A new safety program has to be signaled right down through the organization with specific rewards to the middle managers and the supervisors, who in turn will impose those new values on the employees. If it doesn't become a central line function, it will not be taken seriously down in the organization. The old values will override it. Humble leadership says all up and down the line, starting with the CEO, relationships have to become more personal, more open, and more trusting than our traditional management theory dictates or even allows.
It's really important that there's this trust down through the organization.
It's this notion of the humble leadership. I love the shift that's taking place, where it's very much a case of a collaborative effort, getting that knowledge out from the front line and up to strategic level.
So somewhere, somehow, I don't know when and I don't know where, safety became all about negative stuff. It became about stuff that we don't want to happen. None of this is safety. This is all unsafety.
And this was where our transformation began. We were evolving, no longer seeing our employees as the cause of trouble, but we invert our logic, and they were a recipient of trouble. By inverting our logic, we were able to build spontaneity and drive safety from the bottom up. So for this reason, we developed the perfect HSNE day concept. A perfect HSNE day is a day with no recordable incident, no motor vehicle accident, and no harm to the environment. Either a day is perfect or is not.
Why do we wait for things to go wrong in the first place? Why don't we use the same resource to investigate things that go right? There's a lot more of them to start with. They're happening all the time out there. You don't need to wait for one. And people feel good about discussing things that went well. We've seen 3 or 4 pretty serious accidents over the last couple of years where people have followed procedure, you know, and the root cause followed procedure. We are killing curiosity in people by prescribing for them all the time.
Routine jobs and distraction is a very dangerous cocktail. And sometimes systems, procedures, checklists are also there to help that, to avoid lapse. At the end, it's about the people and just finding the right balance between how you put the trust in them and how you protect them.
I think a key challenge for a leader is to go and understand and support at the work front and see the process. What are the problems? How can you help solve the problem?
If we look at this event as a whole, and we look back through the years, just the fact that we are talking about these subjects, that we have a common language, also enables us to have these kind of conversations.
We have more people attending this year than also attended last year, and that even though we're still in the middle of this crisis, we still see it as important that these events take place and that we're able to learn and share about how best we can improve on safety as a whole.
To have this many people present and staying throughout the day just speaks for itself, I think.
The industry I come from is even more closed, so I can just say that keep on the sharing, and thank you very much for letting us in.
People don't need just to know what to do. They need to believe in what they do.